Hydrogen iodide children. Hope you understand the chemistry language. Hydrogen iodide is nothing but HI. Hi to all the children. Now, welcome to Electron Chemistry Center, that is ECC. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss about basic concepts of organic chemistry. Here onwards, I will be uploading videos regarding organic chemistry of class 11. GOC stands for General Organic Chemistry. Organic name indicates itself. It's all about carbon. It is a branch of chemistry which deals about carbon and its related compounds. So it is the definition can be given for organic chemistry. Although there are 118 elements, approximately 118 elements are there, but we are discussing only about carbon under a special branch called organic chemistry. Why carbon gains this much of importance and why carbon is unique when it is compared to other elements? What are the special features a carbon element possesses? All these points we are going to discuss in organic chemistry. In earlier days, it was believed that no organic compound or no carbon compound was prepared from laboratory sources. Artificially, it is not possible to prepare organic compound. It was the earlier belief. So, earlier there was a scientist named Berzelius. So, Berzelius was proposed a theory called vital force theory. Berzelius proposed a theory called vital force theory. According to this vital force theory, these organic compounds, carbon compounds can be produced from living organisms. But Edu doesn't know how these living organisms can produce these carbon compounds. There was some mysterious force that is called vital force. Some mysterious force is responsible for the production of carbon compounds. And later on, few more scientists have come, and these scientists were proud that even carbon compounds can be prepared in laboratory by artificial methods. So, next scientist who have come is Oehler. Oehler has prepared first organic compound in the laboratory. That organic compound which was prepared in the laboratory is urea by heating ammonium cyanide. Formula is NH4CnO. By heating ammonium cyanide, NH4CnO, he has prepared an organic compound that is NH2C double bond O NH2. It is having carbon, and the name of this compound is urea. It was the first organic compound which is prepared in the laboratory by Oehler. What does it mean? Even organic compounds can be prepared in the laboratory by artificial methods. And later on, so many scientists have come. Even acetic acid is prepared by Kolbe. Kolbe prepared acetic acid in the laboratory, as well as Berthollet. Berthollet was a scientist. He prepared methane in the laboratory. So later on, so many scientists have come. Those scientists have come and they have prepared so many organic compounds by artificial methods. What does it mean? Even organic compounds can be prepared in the laboratory by artificial methods. Now, what is the definition we are following? Organic chemistry is the branch of chemistry which deals about carbon and its compounds. Most of the compounds of carbon are hydrocarbons only. Carbon can form maximum number of compounds. Carbon can form maximum number of compounds with hydrogen. And those compounds are called hydrocarbons. Those compounds are called hydrocarbons. As you know that there are two types of hydrocarbons. Saturated hydrocarbons and unsaturated hydrocarbons. saturated hydrocarbons and unsaturated hydrocarbons. Saturated hydrocarbons examples are alkanes, and unsaturated hydrocarbons are examples alkenes as well as alkynes. Alkanes, C single bond C, carbon-carbon single bonded compounds are called alkanes. Alkenes are nothing but carbon-carbon double bonded compounds. Alkynes are called carbon-carbon triple bonded compounds. Now, all these compounds comes under hydrocarbons, or we can say organic compounds. Now, whenever double bond is there, such type of compounds are called alkenes. Let us take, if you take an example, CH3, C double bond O, CH3. But here double bond is there. We cannot call it as an alkene. Why? Because there is no double bond between carbon and carbon. If there is a double bond between carbon and carbon, then only you can say it as an alkene. So, as I already told you, carbon can form maximum number of compounds with hydrogen. Those compounds are called hydrocarbons. This maximum number of compounds, or you can say millions of compounds, can be formed by carbon, and that is due to few unique features like catenation. Catenation is the one unique feature for carbon. Because of catenation only, it can form large number of compounds. And second one is tetravalency. Due to these two characteristics, one is catenation and tetravalency, carbon can form large number of compounds. Catenation is nothing but self-linking capacity. Self-linking of or self-joining of carbon atoms with another carbon atom to form long chain-like structures. If they form chain-like structures, that property is called catenation. Tetravalency, carbon number of valence electrons are equal to 4. It can form 4 bonds. So that indicates it can form 4 bonds. Among those 4 bonds, single bonds will be there, double bonds will be there, and triple bonds also will be there. Right? Now, so now we have learned about what are the unique features of carbon, and you know that these are the 2 unique features of carbon, catenation and tetravalency. Due to these unique features, carbon can form large number of compounds. Now, let us make a look on it. As you know that carbon can form single bond, double bond and triple bond. Now, if it forms single bond, then it is a sigma. 1 sigma. It is 1 sigma. And carbon double bond. If double bond is there, that will be taken as 1 sigma and 1 pi. You can take it as 1 pi. If carbon triple bond is there, then in such cases you can take it as 1 sigma and 2 pi. It is 1 sigma bond and these are 2 pi bonds. Carbon double bond is there, sigma bond and pi bond. Carbon single bond is there, it will be taken as 1 sigma bond. This is this is the nature of the bonds between carbon and carbon. Right? Now, let us make a look on it. Hybridization. In previous lecture also, I made a video lecture based on hybridization in detail with a shortcut also. Now, hybridization in the sense, as you know that carbon has 4 valence electrons. These 4 valence electrons are present in s orbital as well as in 3 orbital, as well as in p orbitals. So, in such cases, carbon can undergo sp3 hybridization. But as well as, along with sp3 hybridization, carbon can form sp2 hybridization also, sp hybridization also. It can undergo sp, sp2 and sp3 hybridization. But it will not undergo sp3d, sp3d2 or sp3d3. Due to the absence of vacant d orbitals, carbon cannot undergo sp3d or d2 or d3 hybridization. It will undergo sp, sp2 and sp3 hybridization. Now, as I already told you, right, number of sigma bonds plus number of lone pairs, and hybridization and hybridization. This is the shortcut I have given you in the last video lecture. Okay. So number of sigma bonds and number of lone pairs. Let us say if number of sigma bonds and number of lone pairs are 4 and the hybridization is sp3 hybridization. For this, let us take percentage of S character. Percentage of S character is 25%. As percentage of S character increases, electronegativity also increases. Now let us take 3. Sigma electrons and lone pairs are 3. In such cases, hybridization will be sp2, 1 plus 2. Now, percentage of S character is 33.3%. If it is 2, hybridization is sp. Hybridization is sp and percentage of S character is 50%. As percentage of S character increases, electronegativity also increases. Electronegativity increases. Now let us try to understand how do you identify this sp or sp2 or sp3 hybridization in different compounds. This is very important even for competitive examinations also. Let's take a look on it. I have given you an example here. This is the example given to you, right? Now, here if you observe, carbon is connected with one hydrogen. Carbon is connected with one hydrogen only. Okay. Now it is connected with carbon with another sigma bond. Means here how many sigma bonds are there? 2 sigma bonds are there. Anyway, no lone pairs in this molecule, right? If 2 sigma bonds are there, what is the hybridization? Sp hybridization. Right? Similarly, here it is sigma. It is sigma. So this carbon also undergo sp hybridization. Now carbon, this carbon if you consider sigma, this is the 1 sigma I can give it. Right? Similarly, this is the 1 sigma I can give it. CH, this is 1 sigma I can give it, and it is another sigma I can give it. Right? So total how many sigma are there? 2 sigma are there, and as well as 1 sigma with the hydrogen. Total 3 sigma. So sp2. Similarly, here 1 sigma, 2, 1 with the hydrogen. Hybridization is sp2. Now here 2 sigma with 2 carbons and 2 more sigma with the 2 hydrogens. So hybridization is sp3. Now this one also sp3, sp3, sp3. Right? So this is the best way to approach what is the hybridization in a given molecule. But in most of the cases, whenever carbon is attached to the another carbon with the help of triple bond, in such cases hybridization is sp. If carbon is attached to double bonded carbon atom, then it is a sp2 hybridization. If carbon attaches with another carbon atom with the help of single bonds, then it is a sp3 hybridization. Like that we can find out the hybridization of any molecule. Now let us see. CH3, CH2, CH2 minus. Right? Now this carbon is connected with 3 hydrogens, 3 sigma. 1 sigma here with carbon. So this hybridization is sp3. Now similarly this hybridization sp3. But here negative charge is there. So negative charge in the sense 1 lone pair. Negative charge always stands for lone pair. So here 1 sigma. Right? Now 2 sigma with 2 hydrogens. 1 plus 2, 3. Plus 1 lone pair. Total will be equal to 4. So hybridization is sp3. But you need to understand one point here. This lone pair is localized lone pair. Localized means it is concentrated or else it will be belonging to this carbon only. That is called localized. This lone pair is localized lone pair. This lone pair is a localized lone pair. Now if you consider one more example, let us take CH2 double bond CH2 minus. In this case, if you consider example, this carbon connected with 2 hydrogens, 2 sigma, and here 1 sigma. 3 sigma are there. So 3 sigma means what is hybridization? sp2 hybridization. Similarly here 1 sigma, 2 and 1 with hydrogen. So it is sp2 hybridization. But when it comes to here 1 sigma is there and 2 hydrogens are there. So 2 sigma bond plus this sigma. Total how many sigma? 3 sigma. Plus 1 lone pair is there. 3 sigma plus 1 lone pair means 4 you will get it. We are supposed to get sp3. But the hybridization of this carbon is not sp3, it is sp2 only. Why? Because this lone pair which is present on this carbon is not localized lone pair. You will come to know in reaction mechanism what is localized and delocalized. This lone pair is delocalized lone pair. This lone pair is delocalized lone pair. Why? Because it will be delocalized, it will be involved in delocalization with double bond. Whenever double bond is there at alternative position, in such cases this double bond will be involving in conjugation with negative charge. The delocalization part will be discussed in reaction mechanism. So this is the way, whenever if they ask you to find it out the hybridization of any molecule, accordingly we can find out the hybridization, right? So that is lone pair delocalization, and this lone pair is localized and this lone pair is delocalized. Copy this part. Now let us see structural representation of organic compounds, means carbon compounds. How do you represent in the form of structures? There are different ways. Number one, molecular formula. You can represent it by molecular formula. Let us take molecular formula. I have taken C5H12. If you represent it like this, it is called molecular formula. Condensed structural formula. Condensed structural formula in the sense you can write it like this: CH3, CH2, CH2, CH3. Total number of carbons are 5, hydrogens are 12. If it is expanded structural formula, this is the third one. How do you give expanded structural formula? You need to represent each and every covalent bond. Let us say carbon connected with 3 hydrogens. Carbon connected with the 3 hydrogens. Similarly, this is connected with carbon, 2 hydrogens. Another carbon connected with 2 hydrogens. And another carbon connected with 2 hydrogens, 3 hydrogens. This way of representation is called expanded structural formula. We are expanding each and every covalent bond of carbon which is connected to hydrogen or else with the other atom. Now, bond line notation. In bond line notation, we will not represent carbon or we will not represent hydrogen. Simply we will represent with the help of lines. Total how many carbons are there? 5 carbons are there. It can be represented like this. This represents 1 carbon, second carbon, third carbon, fourth carbon, fifth carbon. This type of notation is called bond line notation. In bond line notation, we will not represent any of the carbon or hydrogen. We will represent carbon or hydrogen with the lines only. This is called bond line notation. Like this, we can represent any organic compound with the help of 4 ways. One is molecular formula, second one is condensed structural formula, third one is expanded structural formula, fourth one is bond line notation. Now, let's make a look on it with the help of a few examples. Now, let's see. Here, bond line notation I am giving. And next, condensed formula. Condensed structural formula. How do you represent condensed structural formula? First, suppose bond line notation is a line. It is 1 carbon, it is another carbon. So how do you represent? CH3, CH3. This is the way of representing. Now, if I give like this, 1 carbon, second carbon, third carbon. Total number of carbons are 3. It is CH3. and this carbon is CH2, and this is connected with the CH3, another carbon. Right? Now, one more carbon I have taken. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 carbons are there. It can be expanded as CH3, CH2, CH2, CH3. This is CH3, 2 CH3 groups, and it is CH2, CH2. Right? Now, if it is given in another way, let us say, little bit complicated one. This is given. So, this point is central carbon, which is connected to CH2, connected with CH3. I will take this is central carbon, connected with CH2, this one, and connected with CH3. Similarly, CH2, CH3, CH2 and CH3, and it is connected with CH2, CH3. This is the way of representing of this structure. Okay, like that, I have taken one more example. A cyclic ring I have taken. If I take cyclic ring, in this case it is CH2, CH2, CH2. This is the way of representing of different structures. Like any bond line notation is given, this is the way of representing. I am continuing here the same topic. Let us say, and one more compound connected with a single line represents for CH3 group. So here it is CH2, this is CH2, connected with the carbon, and it is connected with CH3, and it is connected with CH3. Okay, that is the bond line structure, and this is condenser structure, and it is bond line structure, it is bond line structure, it is a condenser structure, right? While you are framing condensed or bond line structure, you need to check carbon valency carefully. Carbon has to form only 4 bonds. Accordingly, you need to frame the bonds. Okay. Now, like that, if it is double bonded compound, simply it is a double bond. Means this double bond is present in between 2 carbons. So 2 carbon double bond is there. Okay. So still it can connect with 2 hydrogens. It can connect with the 2 hydrogens. Right? Similarly, I have taken one more example. Right? So this is connected with this part, it is CH2. Connected with CH3. This is the condenser structural formula. Now similarly, I will give one more example. 2 double bonds I have taken. Then how do you write the condenser structural formula for this? Let's make a look on it. This part CH2, double bond, CH, single bond, CH, CH2. This part CH, single bond, CH, connected with CH2. If it is a triple bond, then it is a triple bond. Triple bond, if it is there, then I will give it CH, triple bond, CH. CH, triple bond, CH. Similarly, you can expand. There is a triple bond. In these cases, how do you write the condenser structural formula? This is carbon. This carbon, it is called terminal carbon. It is called terminal carbon. Those terminal carbons are CH3. Connected with the carbon, this one. And it is triple bond. Carbon and connected with the CH3. This is the way of giving condenser structural formula. Right? For any type of bond line notations, you need to check the carbon valency. If you check the carbon valency, accordingly you can write it. Okay, so this is the way of representing. Copy it. Now let us see the next topic, degree of carbons. There are different types of carbons. One is primary carbon. Primary carbon, you can write it as 1 degree. You can say 1 degree carbon. And second one is secondary carbon. Third one is tertiary carbon. Fourth one is quaternary carbon. Like that, 4 types of carbons are there. If carbon attached to another carbon, if carbon attached to single carbon, carbon attached to single carbon, then it is said to be primary carbon. Now CH, let us say CH3, CH2, CH3. Right? This carbon attached to only one carbon. Hence, this carbon is called primary carbon, 1 degree carbon. Similarly, if you take this carbon attached to single carbon, then it is called 1 degree carbon. Now, second type of carbon, secondary carbon. Secondary carbon can be indicated by the symbol 2 degree. Now, how do you write 2 degree? If carbon attached to 2 carbons, carbon attached to 2 carbons. Carbon, if it is attached to 2 carbons, then it is called secondary carbon. Let us say CH3, CH2, CH3. As you know, these two are primary carbons. This carbon is secondary carbon. Why? This carbon is attached to 2 carbons. Hence it is called secondary carbon. Now, third type of carbon is tertiary carbon. Tertiary carbon is indicated by 3 degree. 3 degree carbon is nothing but tertiary carbon. So what you will write here? Carbon attached to 3 carbons. If carbon attached to 3 carbons, then it is called tertiary carbon. Let us say CH3, C. Now this is 1 degree carbon connected to only one carbon. This is 2 degree carbon. Why? Because this carbon is connected to 2 carbons. This carbon is connected to this one. Total how many carbons are there? 3 carbons. So this carbon is a 3 degree carbon. Now 4 degree carbon. Fourth one is 4 degree carbon, or else you can say quaternary carbon. Or else you can say quaternary carbon. Quaternary carbon is also called as 4 degree carbon. It is carbon attached to 4 carbons. If carbon attached to 4 carbons, then it is called quaternary carbon. Carbon connected to 4 carbons is called quaternary carbon. Total number of, if you consider this carbon, it is connected to total carbons are 4 carbons. So this carbon is 4 degree carbons. Like that, degree of carbons there are 4. One is primary carbon, secondary carbon, tertiary carbon, and fourth one is quaternary carbon. Now based on this degree of carbons only, we can give degree of hydrogens also. Let us say degree of hydrogen. 1 degree hydrogen is there, 2 degree hydrogen is there, 3 degree hydrogen is there. Right? 1 degree hydrogen means it will be attached to primary carbon atom. Attached to primary carbon atom. The hydrogen which is attached to 1 degree carbon is called 1 degree hydrogen or primary hydrogen. The hydrogen which is attached to 2 degree carbon, it is called 2 degree hydrogen. The hydrogen which is attached to 3 degree carbon or tertiary carbon, that hydrogen is called 3 degree hydrogen or tertiary hydrogen. Remember that we do not have 4 degree hydrogens. 4 degree hydrogen will not be there. Why? Because quaternary carbon will not have hydrogens, right? So that's why 4 degree hydrogen will not be there. Now let us try to understand with the help of few examples here. How do you identify primary carbon, secondary carbon, tertiary carbon, or quaternary carbon, right? Or hydrogens also. Sometimes they will ask you, they will give you an example, how many primary, secondary, tertiary hydrogens are there or carbons are there in the given molecule. Now try to identify primary carbon, secondary carbon and tertiary and quaternary. This carbon, if you consider, it is attached to one carbon only, hence this carbon is primary carbon. This carbon, if you consider, it is attached to two carbons. This is one carbon, it is another carbon. Now this carbon is called 2 degree carbon. This carbon attached to 1, 2, 3, 4. And this carbon is called 4 degree carbon. Now coming to this carbon attached to how many carbons? 2 carbons. So this carbon is called 2 degree carbon. Now this carbon attached to 1, 2, 3, 4. Hence this is called 4 degree carbon. This carbon attached to how many carbons? 2 carbons. Hence it is called 2 degree. And these hydrogens are called 2 degree hydrogens. This carbon connected to only one carbon. Hence this carbon is 1 degree carbon. And these hydrogens are called 1 degree hydrogens. Similarly, this carbon is 1 degree, and this is also 1 degree carbon. It is also 1 degree carbon. Hydrogens which are attached to 1 degree carbon are called 1 degree hydrogens. Okay. Now I'll give one more example, as I already given this example for bond line notation. Right. This carbon, it is connected to one carbon. Right. Hence this is 1 degree. This carbon connected to how many hydrogens? 2 carbons. This carbon connected to 2 carbons. Hence it is 2 degree. This carbon 1 degree, and it is 2 degree. And this carbon also 1 degree, 2 degree. It is 1 degree, it is 2 degree. In the center there is one carbon. It is connected to how many carbons? Total 4 carbons. Hence this carbon is 4 degree carbon or quaternary carbon. As I already told you, quaternary carbon will not have any hydrogens, right? Similarly, if you take example here. Now, this is the carbon connected with only one carbon. You check the bond line notation. Hence it is primary. It is connected to 2 carbons. This carbon is connected to this one, 2 carbons. Hence it is secondary. This carbon connected to 2 carbons. So it is secondary. This carbon connected to secondary. And it is primary carbon. And the hydrogens which are attached to the respective carbons, like if it is primary hydrogens. If it is secondary hydrogen. If it is tertiary, then it is tertiary hydrogen. Right? Now, similarly, you can see examples with functional groups. With functional groups, how do you identify? Right? So let us try to understand with the alcohols. You only have to say whether it is primary, secondary or tertiary. Right? CH3, CH2, CH2, OH. OH functional group is called alcohol. It is connected to this carbon. But this carbon is connected to only single carbon. So this carbon is primary carbon. And this alcohol is called 1 degree alcohol. Primary alcohol. Now if you see CH3, CH3, this one connected with OH. OH group is attached with which carbon? 2 degree carbon. So this alcohol is called 2 degree alcohol. If OH group is attached to 1 degree carbon, that alcohol is called primary alcohol or 1 degree alcohol. If OH group is attached to 2 degree carbon, then that alcohol is called 2 degree alcohol or secondary alcohol. Similarly, this carbon connected to 3 carbons. So this carbon is called 3 degree carbon. OH group is attached to 3 degree carbon. And this alcohol is called 3 degree alcohol. This alcohol is called 3 degree alcohol. Like that, primary alcohol, secondary alcohol and tertiary alcohol will be identified. Similarly, if you take alkyl halides. Alkyl halides are nothing but RX. R is the alkyl group. X is nothing but halogen. Alkyl halides, let us say CH3, CH2, CH2, X. X is the halogen. If X is attached to primary carbon, and these are primary alkyl halides. These are primary alkyl halides. Why? Because halogen is attached to primary carbon. Similarly, if you take CH3, CHX, CH3, halogen is attached to 2-degree carbon. If halogens are attached to 2-degree carbon, then these halides are called secondary alkyl halides. These alkyl halides are called secondary alkyl halides. Let us say CH3. Here halogen is connected to tertiary carbon. Hence, these alkyl halides are called 3-degree alkyl halides. These alkyl halides are called 3-degree alkyl halides. Like that we can give primary, secondary and tertiary. I will make you to understand this primary, secondary and tertiary with the help of another type of organic compounds. Right? Those are amines. Amines are nothing but the compounds which are having NH2, amine group as a functional group. But here, if nitrogen is connected to single carbon, then this amine is called 1-degree amine. If nitrogen is connected to 2 carbons, then it is 2-degree amine. If nitrogen is connected with 3 carbons with no hydrogen, then these amines are called 3-degree amines or tertiary amines. Primary amine means nitrogen connected with 1 carbon. Secondary amine, nitrogen connected with 2 carbons. Tertiary amine, nitrogen connected with 3 carbons. So let us try to understand CH3, CH2, CH2, NH2. Here nitrogen connected with only 1 carbon. Hence, this is said to be 1-degree amine. Okay. Now, CH3, CH2, CH3. Here it is NH2. Here this carbon is secondary carbon, but this amine is not secondary amine. You need to see how nitrogen is attached. Right? Nitrogen is attached with only 1 carbon. Hence, this amine is called primary amine. Right? So, it is the common misconception. Here, nitrogen is attached to secondary carbon. Most of the people will be treated it as secondary amine. No. Nitrogen is attached with 1 carbon, hence it is primary amine. Okay. Let us say CH3, NH, CH3. Right? Nitrogen is connected with 2 carbons. Hence, it can be given as 2-degree amine. Similarly, you can take one more example, CH3, N, CH3, CH3. Here, nitrogen is connected with how many carbons? 3 carbons. Hence, this amine is called 3-degree amine. Right? Like that, we can give 1-degree, 2-degree, and 3-degree amines, and even for alkyl halides also, as well as for alcohols also.